Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm so excited for season 2 and the great guests you're going to hear from, their struggles, how they overcame their struggles, their triumphs. Through personal and business life, I think they're tied together, and we're going to share great stories about that. This show isn't just about me. It takes a lot of good people working with me. Among them is my partner, H7 Network, and Clay Hicks. Building relationships, building community is the mission of H7 Network. They want to create a network of champions where everybody wins. Find out more at h7network.com. And we hope to motivate you, inspire you, and educate you through our show. Enjoy the show. We'll talk to you on the other side. Welcome, everybody. This is your host, Steve Ramona, of the podcast Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. And when we talk about serving, humanity is so important to the world because if we're not human, we can't serve. I've got a super special guest because she talks humanity with jobs and business and all that. Jan, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Steve. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited what you're going to say because I've had bits and pieces of it, but now my audience gets to hear it, and this is exciting. I want to jump into Better Job Fit. What is it? What's your mission? What are you trying to accomplish?
I got to tell you, Better Job Fit, we're a 501c3 organization, nonprofit organization. I started it in 2009, just from my own personal transformation in corporate America. I worked for a global pharmaceutical company, was hired by our biggest competitor, and had a great boss too. They were in the middle of a merger and acquisition during this time. That's kind of how I joined the company, and had a great boss. 2 months later, she got moved. I got a new boss, and I got to tell you, my friend, how can I be hired for my strengths? And then all of a sudden, 2 months later, new boss, and they say you're not performing. And, I tried to fit myself in a box that wasn't me. They changed my job, the whole job description. I was so stressed out. My palms started to peel. My hair was falling out. I literally, went to a doctor, and he said, "You're at risk for a heart attack and stroke." And the stress of it just really declined. I mean, I declined physically and mentally, and marriage fell apart, lost my home. You talk about a phoenix rising. I had nothing. And I sat there and I said, you know what? The one thing I want to do is make sure that nobody else gets put in harm's way when it comes to their next position, to focus on their strengths. And that's what I did. And I focused on veterans and foster care alumni, because those two groups, populations, really are underserved when it comes to finding positions. Veterans are always put in manual labor jobs, and foster care, they're always shuttled to whatever's available. And to me, I wanted to use objective science and a human being's imagination to help people create their next. And so that's really how Better Job Fit started. And we've grown since then. So thank you for asking.
No, I love that you work with veterans. I've got a number of veterans that I work with as well. We know PTSD and suicides are, I think the last count was 44 a day. It's crazy. They go fight for our country and look what's left.
Yeah.
You talked about humanity before the show. We talked about it. How's that tie into Better Job Fit? It's such a cool way of doing it.
So what I love, my goal, our vision is to raise the conscious awareness of the workforce. So it's very appropriate, especially now with AI being so prevalent and people are saying how it's replacing jobs. And, this has been going on for many years. This isn't something new, right? We've been needing to up our human game for a very long time. And so it really ties into what our mission is, our courses, our workshops, our events. Everything is designed around raising that conscious awareness of individuals. It's really putting people back into upping their human game. And so we really like to take people's imaginations and open up to the 95% of what they have no idea is possible for them. So, it's really a beautiful package when it comes to upping our human game and raising that conscious awareness of the workforce.
I like that. And I love what you said earlier about humanity and the human game is pretty simple. Treat humans well.
I mean, it really is. I
Hard
don't
to do
understand
sometimes,
why.
but
Yeah,
it's
it's
really
not
what.
an easy job. Okay. It's not easy. It's an easy concept. And I think people say, oh, well, it's too easy. No, it's a daily practice. It's a
Yep.
daily
Yep.
practice.
So veterans listening on one of the listeners on our show, how would they be part of Better Job Fit? Walk them through the journey of what that would happen. What would happen?
So there's a couple of ways. We love to work with other nonprofit organizations. So like how I started was I had friends that either had started their own veteran nonprofit organizations or they were CEOs of a foster care or veteran organization. So we like to partner with the organization themselves, right? And we come in and we partner with the companies that are already partnering with the nonprofits, and we come in and we say, hey, we're able to create custom job match patterns for these companies that are partnering, that are hiring. And then we have an assessment tool. It's really a true, legit job matching tool, not something a lot of people have heard of DISC or Myers-Briggs. Those aren't job matching tools. So we're able to go and assess and work with the stakeholders, so the veterans or the foster care alumni, and we're able to take this objective science and say, hey, we got 5 veterans here and there's 4 or 5 different types of positions that they're a match, 85% match or above. And what's so cool is we can take their past work experience, merge it with that. Let's say we have somebody that was working in a HR compensation benefits position, right? And they're a match to sales and technology. And people go, well, wait a minute, those two don't go together. Yeah, they do. So we're able to take what aspects of sales and technology, marry it with what they've done before. So in this case, we had a veteran that she ended up working for a tech company that created software that helps companies decide which healthcare plan to purchase for their employees. So she was training. So she was working for that tech company in the back end, training HR staff on how to use the software. That's user experience. That's sales. That's the back end of sales, right? So that's kind of how we matched that. So we work with people that way through the organization itself. And then we have courses and workshops that veterans and foster care alumni that they can take, and they're matched to jobs and they can go through our coaching program. So we have a crowdsourcing fund that people can donate. They can take a course of ours and then donate some money for a course to a foster care or a veteran. So it's buy one and give one away, share the knowledge.
So it's a great win-win. I like that a lot. And it's interesting because as you're talking, I'm thinking the high success rate of them finding a job they like that fits them is awesome. Because that's the problem when you get a job.
And we don't know enough about ourselves.
Yeah.
Like that's what's so cool about this is I can provide the 95% because we have limited beliefs about ourselves and what's available. And we believe what other people are saying, like recruiters and hiring managers, we only know 5%, right? We have our own limited viewpoint of what somebody else can do or where they're a good fit. We're able to provide the 95% of what nobody can ever imagine, right? I mean, that's what's so exciting about it.
It is exciting because we all need jobs because we all need money. I'm going to spare it down.
Yeah.
And I know, and you probably know, have met a number of people who have been through 4 or 5 jobs in the last 3 or 4 years. And it's frustrating.
And it's frustrating. And especially when it comes to veterans and foster care, the emotional state already. And, you know, if you're put in a position where you're not living up to your greatness, meaning you're underemployed, right? Because of somebody's limited belief about what you're able to do, now you're not happy because you're not living to your greatness. You're not
Yeah.
you're not aligned with your greatness. And to me, that's a disservice to other human beings. And you know, in my bubble, I just look at this tool and go, I I don't know why people don't you know, like companies don't use it, but I know why. Because Steve, it's the ego, you know, that we humans have, and we can't imagine to have a tool that might be smarter than us, right? And it's not about that. It's about use AI or technology to your benefit, and then use your human intelligence to leverage that information and customize it for the human being that's in front of you. And it's that creative process when you bring those two factors together, and being able to dig down deep with that other human being and say, look, I got to help you get outside your limited belief of what you think is possible, and let's go play, right? Let's start combining what you've done before with what science tells us. And let's use the internet to our benefit to literally, that's what we share with them and show them how to create their next position. All this string of information from the science and what they've done before, what they love doing. We teach them how to put that into Google in a very unique string, like Boolean string like form. And the internet, in all its amazement, will give them positions that match what they just put in there, what they love and what they're aligned to do. I mean, how great is that?
Fantastic. The other side of it, any business owners listening, what a great way. How much money you spend training, onboarding a new employee, and you get the right fit that stays with you 5, 10, 15 years. You probably saved them hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right now, the cost of just to hire somebody for the position is just to get them in the door. This is not training them. This is just to hire them, to put a butt in a seat. 1/3 of their salary.
Wow.
What it costs for their salary. That's just to get them in and that has nothing to do with training and how long they'll stay. But what's interesting is companies are not seeing that. They see the number. A lot of them don't even track it, Steve.
That's amazing. Well, and I think fear and COVID and all this on their mind, and there's no excuse, because if there's an
No,
answer
it's
there,
fear. It's fear. Because it's truly the ego of, we're going to keep on doing it the old school way, or the way we've done it for all these years. And it still doesn't work. I mean, it's still not working. Okay?
What's the famous guy say? Doing the same thing over and over again gets you.
It's insanity.
It's insanity. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it's like that. And then Einstein, you can't solve the problem looking at it from the same perspective.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was one of the, you know, when I think of upping human game and then being so intelligent, right, in physics and quantum science, he was so consciously advanced because he connected the big picture of how things work, right? And again, from that, you know, like, you got to do things differently. You've got to get outside that rudimentary circle, you know, jerk loop of mindset, right?
Yeah.
Because like we were talking about mindset, get 1% better every day. That's huge. Look at it differently, but it does take effort to do that.
And it's interesting, you place Einstein here today, he would be doing the same things, because it's his humanity, what he does, not
exactly
the age, the era, the generation, any of that. He's a giver. He's this, he's going to be that in any generation. I love that.
And you know, what's interesting, when we talk about consciously advanced people, it's not about an age, it's not a demographic, it's not, you know, and right now we're seeing, you know, we see a lot more ageism, so to speak. It doesn't matter whether you're 12 or whether you're 80. right? I mean, it doesn't matter what label we're putting on people, right? It's about a level of awareness. Who are you attracting? You know, I, I love me some Einstein, Steve.
I can tell. Well, before I forget, let's do a shout out because you put so many golden nuggets out there. Someone who wants to reach out to you, how can we find you?
Please, you can email me at J Barlow, Barlow, at betterjobfit.org. Hook me up and on LinkedIn, Jan Barlow. That's really the direct way. Text me. I'll throw it out there. Text me 817-617-0524. Let me know that they saw me or, heard me on your program, on Steve's program. Text me, tell me your name. Let's have unexpected opportunity and get together.
I'm going to throw this out there. You ready?
I'm ready, Steve. I'm excited. I got goosebumps.
Oh, I'm going to give you more. The first 5 people that reach out to you, I will send them a physical gift from me.
No way.
Yep. I will gift them because that's how much I'm putting my money where my mouth is, because that's how much I believe in what you're doing. No. So how that's going to work,
that
listeners.
Is so kind of you.
Yeah. And I love doing this. And listeners who've listened to my shows multiple times know this. When you reach out to them, mention me, the podcast, or both, doesn't matter. And Jan will give me your information. I'll get your physical. I'm going to physically send you something. I'm going to physically send you something.
Oh my gosh, Steve, that is so kind of you.
Rewards, no, because rewards are important. Sometimes it motivates people to, do I call her, email her, or not? Do I text her? And I know you're going to talk to them. I know you're going to help them. Whatever. She's got a ton of resources. So
I was going to say, we got tons of resources, and I'm here to tell you, Steve, we got that inspired action we talk about. If you get a download, should I call, or don't talk yourself out of it. Like Steve and I, you and I were just talking about this. You get a download of inspired thought or inspired action. Don't go down the bunny trail of your left-hand brain and talk yourself out of it. It's really that higher brain of yours, that higher awareness that's guiding you to some breadcrumbs here. Guiding you to your next, right?
Yeah. And in most decisions, even if they're a wrong decision, are not going to hurt you. They're going to teach you.
Yes. There is no wrong, right? Because it's called in quantum science, there are no absolutes. This is quantum science. Okay. If you started to live your life around quantum science, by quantum science, there are no absolutes. That means there's never a wrong answer.
Oh, I love
that. And failure and perfection are linear. So there are no such thing.
Yeah.
So how would you live your life if you lived that way? You know what I'm saying? If you started to live your life from that perspective of next, okay, let's try this. Next, okay, that didn't turn out the way I would like it. Okay, next.
Yep.
You lose some shame and blame,
Indecisions losing a lot of people money from a business perspective.
Oh, so true.
And a personal, it's just opportunity. And before I forget, because we're getting at the end here, I know you have hundreds of stories, but you got a great story you could tell my audience how you help somebody a better job fit.
I got to tell you, that's my heart. I shared with you the compensation benefits gal. She was a veteran, but one of my favorite and heartfelt ones is helping John. He was a veteran. His wife heard about me. She referred her husband. He loved to do art. Okay. But some recruiter thought that he was just good at being a warehouse guy working for one of the big box arts and crafts stores, will remain nameless. They hired him. His boss left. This is during Christmas time. He'd go, of course, remember military, they step up. Okay, they're going to fill in. So they put him in a position in the middle of Christmas and holiday and all that. And he was put in harm's way. And he started to get, ridiculed. That said he wasn't doing anything right. Well, they never trained him. Okay, they just threw him in a situation. And so he really, his self-confidence and everything, and he started to get depressed. I got to be honest, I was just so mad at that situation. And we sat and we did like 3 or 4 sessions. after our job matching, what we did, and just he sent me an email and said, Jan, oh my God, like I carried this shame around for so many months. You know, how can you, it's just like what our veterans, how can you save, hundreds of people or your platoon from death and do all these things? And then all of a sudden you come to the private sector and go into a job and you sit there and somebody says you're not doing it right or whatever. Like, really? Like, that just doesn't. And so I think it really helped me. It really helped my heart to see that what we do does uplift others. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to have him, when he went from carrying shame around to losing that shame and that baggage, to me, I know that I'm doing something right.
Amen. What a game changer, and what a change in his life. And the outside people, like his wife, and if he has kids, you're changing everybody when he does better.
Because his wife would, I mean, again, quality of life.
Yeah.
We, just think of how many of us, when we feel shame about ourselves, to me, now that's no human being. I think when it comes to that, I don't want any human being to feel that. And if we can, if what our technology and what we do can switch that energy and that mindset, to me, that's life affirming.
Somebody doesn't want to reach out. There's people out there may not want to reach out. What tip can you leave them to go out and get a job that fits them? Is there any tips that you can give them, the audience?
I got to be honest, right? Really, what it comes down to, be open to unexpected opportunity. Okay. Be clear about what you do want. Because a lot of people are, they'll sit there and go, I don't want this, I don't want that. And they keep on speaking in that mindset and in that tone. Like, okay, first write all that down, what you don't want, get it out of your system. Then clearly look at that list of what you don't want, flip it and write out next to it, what then does it look like? If, let's say, I don't want a boss that micromanages me. Okay, what that really means is I want a boss or a manager that sees my strengths, that uplifts me, that, you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
That gives me the freedom to work in my strengths, right? So that's the first and really the foundational that I tell everybody. Because if you're in the position to where you don't like what you do, write all that down, what you don't like about it, but then look and mindfully think, then what does the opposite look like? Because until you know what that looks like, you're just throwing spaghetti at a wall to see if it sticks.
Yeah, that's great advice. Yeah, because people just get a job because of the money or the time. It fits my schedule. It's this or that, and they stay there because
that's really not it,
no.
right? And but see, it's never about the money, Steve. It's never about the money. Money is energy, right? So you can think that you're at a job and you're making a lot of money, but if mentally, if you're not engaged or it doesn't feed you, uplift you, right? It doesn't matter. The price of anything, I can't remember, Henry David Thoreau quote, I'll leave you with this. The price of anything is the amount of time you exchange for it.
I love that. And I've a number of guests that have left high paying jobs, exactly what you said, went to do their passion. They're making less money, but they're so much happier and their relationships are better with the family and friends. And that's more valuable than any $1 million you can make.
That's exactly right. And I apologize that I misquoted. The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it.
I love that.
I know, isn't it great?
We all need to be exchanging life. And with that being said, since we're running out of time here, God, I love that. Exchange. Listeners, remember that.
Henry David Thoreau. Yeah, I'm going to send you that quote so you can put it in there. Henry David Thoreau, the amount or the price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it.
Yep, and that's all about serving.
It is, my friend. It is. It always comes down to that. Jan, servant leadership.
Yep, you're a blessing, Jan. God bless you for being on my show. Great golden nuggets. Please reach out. First 5 people, I'm going to send you a gift.
I love it.
Free's always
Come
great.
on. Come on. Free.
I want her text or email blanketed with messages. And I want her coming back to me telling me that. So with that being said, one more favor, can you leave, you've left so many golden nuggets that people are going to be able to watch and listen over and over. What's a life tip that you can leave that's been helped you through your life of your ups and downs?
I got to tell you, my friend, unexpected opportunity. Okay. You got to make time for unexpected opportunity. And a lot of people say, well, wait a minute. If it's unexpected, how do you schedule time for that? It means that when you get an opportunity, like you and I were introduced, one of my core peeps says, you got to talk to so-and-so. You got to meet so-and-so. I never question it. I just schedule the time and show up, because every time I'm either called to, during a conversation with that person, I get a download to share, and that's something that they need to hear, or it's a referral, like, oh, you need to talk to so-and-so. I got to connect you with so-and-so. To me, that's the magic of this world, that we never can maximize that. Like, that is like, really, to me, it's the breadcrumbs that leads me to meeting people, right? To meeting the next person, to maybe the next sponsor of one of our events, for maybe a veteran or foster care individual that I need to help open up the doors for that person, right? To me, that's what we're called to do. So if we get that synchronicity and that connection, Steve, we just got to show up. We just got to show up, but make time for that. Make time for that, because that's the magic that is happening all day, every day.